nowhere head is always smooth.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a very warm welcome to Pukekohe. It's round 4 of the D1NZ National Drifting Championship Series. Our Turbosmart Pro Sport drivers heading out on the track now. This man on screen running second in the title chase, Kurt Blackie in the D1NZ Cooper Tyres, Mount Maunganui R32 Skyline. If you're joining us from Facebook, welcome along to Pukekohe Park. I'm Steve Daniel, your commentator for this weekend. And I'll be joined by multiple drivers. Gosh, there's a lot of smoke coming out of the front end of that car, obviously probably from his skid when he came out onto the track. So hey guys, welcome along. It is of course Pukekohe, the fastest drift track in New Zealand. Yesterday we saw speeds as high as 202 kilometres an hour in the Pro Championship. Of course, Cole Armstrong driving his way to the front. We're talking about going to the front, and it's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Fanger Dan Woolhouse. And of course, he went top yesterday in qualifying. An incredible lap. So we're going to bring you all the action here this today, and we'll have it's going to be an incredible day of drifting. So we've got the first battle of the day in the Pro Sport Championship. Eddie Heyman going up against Alex Griffin. The Nissan Safiro going up against the Nissan S15. Big barrier under it, but we are ready to release them as they come down the front straight here at Pukekohe. The first battle of the day. So a gap already formed between Eddie Heyman, who leads out, and that Safiro going up against the Rat King S15. Barra certainly not short on pace as he fires it through into the first turn. Bit of a bobble for Alex Griffin. Needs to reset, and that is going to be a big hindrance for him going forward with a massive mistake coming through the centre section. 159, so just under 160 kilometre in. So if you're tuning in from outside of New Zealand, make sure you tell us where you're from. We're always interested to know where you're from on the live stream as we release the next cars for their second half of their battle. So let's see the speed this time for Alex Griffin. Well, where is the other car? It's almost in an active chase between these two drivers here. Alex Griffin, though, and a huge mistake again. Well, I mean, we're seeing mistakes all over the show in the first couple of battles of the day here at Pukekohe. Here we go. Slide left for Eddie Heyman, slide right for Alex Griffin. Brendan Dunker says Eddie Heyman. Zach Pole says Eddie Heyman, and a one more time for Dan Mackey. So Eddie Heyman will go through as they make their way down the front straight here at Pukekohe. As I mentioned, round 4 of the D1NZ, and of course it's the final round of the Cooper Tyres Triple Crown as Scotty Dinsdale on that 2JZ powered S13 going up against the RB25 Dirty Plasty of Kurt Blackie. Kurt Blackie trying to tuck and get that proximity back as they fire on back through onto the back straight. Alright, there's the second half of the battle between Scotty D and Kurt Blackie. Kurt Blackie, in my opinion, has a lot to prove for himself this time. Scotty D getting right on that rear bump at the start, of course, over 100. Oh, he's gone backwards in. Needs to get his foot hard on the brake, and Kurt Blackie needs to hold on to this run. If he makes a mistake, we will look at potentially go one more time. Blackie, though, not the cleanest of runs for either of these drivers, and you know why? We can see it out there. We have got the dreaded rain. So it is raining here at Pukekohe Park Raceway, and that is going to make a huge difference to every single one of these drivers. There's dry setups, there's wet setups, and you see Scotty D backing that car in. Lucky to hold on to it. Now I wonder if that's going to bring a delay to proceedings. So we see Kurt Blackie going through. The cameramen, I can see, are already starting to wrap their cameras up, getting ready. So you can't quite see it at the moment, but I can tell you that it is absolutely bucketing down. Of course, Cole Armstrong, he's leading with 202 kilometres an hour. Is the $500 going to be Cole's? We're going to find out by the end of the day. There we go. 1, 2, 3 slides right for Kurt Blackie moving forward. Scotty D, a quick to reset those now. As we can see, our grid staff, they've set themselves up with a tent. All right, well, the wiper blades are on as we release Adam Camplin, who leads out Andy Donoghue in the Team 33, HK Upholsterers, Laurel, and the speeds have certainly dropped. Donoghue working away is up the top of the track, having to wind on the angle, trying to avoid contact, and that was Adam Camplin off and into the kitty litter. Now, of course, that is going to give the advantage, or lack of advantage in this case here, as this is more of an expression session than a burnout session for these two drivers. The car in second place, the one that's in front right now, the HK Upholsterers machine, it is not his job to continue his lap because he was in the chase position. If the chase car, though, had over-rotated, then it would be the job of the lead driver. And you can see hands up in the air. Adam Campbell's like this. I am literally drifting on an ice rink right now. So sliding all over the show. You certainly wouldn't want to be sitting behind this the steering wheel of either of those two cars. So certainly we've seen no rain this weekend here at Pukekohe. But look, in a couple of small battles and how close to contact as we see the replays firing out thanks to the broadcasting team. Camplin, by Camplin to release the brake when Donoghue was Adam. I certainly agree. Let's have a look this time here as we go to the second half of this battle. So Donoghue has the advantage. Let's see what sort of speed. You can see they've dropped down probably 20 kilometres an hour. And hard for the camera operators to keep two cars in the shot. So we've seen a big mistake from the chase car, almost in an active chase. And I think that is certainly going to be enough for Andy Donoghue to get the nod. We'll get ready to go to the judges' board. Slide left for Adam Camplin, slide right for Andy Donoghue. 1, 2, 3 strikes right. Andy Donoghue will go through and he'll be taking on Kurt Blackie on the top out. Well, it's time to move to the right-hand side of the tree. It's Adam Camplin in the Blacklion Tyres. A31 Safiro going up against Charlie Bon Walsh. He had big issues yesterday. Didn't have a third or fourth gear. He's got even bigger issues this time as he tries to throw dirt all over the road cones down there. The road cones, of course, our media team. And a huge advantage again. So right now, we're not looking at great drifting. We're looking at who doesn't make the mistake. Straight back to the TTI replay. So we see Adam Whitehead sets the car up. Certainly great angle still considering the weather conditions, but Charlie Bon Walsh over-rotating. Now let's have a look at this one there. Were there a couple of... Was that a straight line for Adam Whitehead? I guess we're about to find that out as well. It could actually... So we look at this one here. That was a straight line. So right now, that potentially is 0-0 for both of these drivers. Let's say a big hello to, of course, Darren Kelly and Cole Armstrong. Welcome back to the commentary box. We're just watching. Look at this. This is never nice to see.
Yeah, this track gets extremely slippery in the wet, and it's definitely not easy after going in there all weekend in the dry.
So
you get the real patchy too, eh? So it's like wet, dry. Oh, is it wet? Isn't it?
I mean, there's over-rotation everywhere. These guys, so the first one we saw Charlie Bon Walsh go basically backwards in, lucky not to tear this thing apart on the concrete walls. But prior to doing so, the lead car actually straightened up a couple of times. So if I'm right, that's potentially a 0-0. Let's have a look at the 144
sure.
km.
I know. So the judges are obviously going to have to adjust for that now, eh? Like they had a benchmark set. But as you can see, the track's dried up pretty quickly. It would be a warm surface out there, so that little bit of rain just that fell just before should bugger off pretty quickly.
What are you guys doing to, Darren, what are you doing to try and get your car ready for this sort of condition?
So that's the hardest part. Basically, when you've had a dry track, you've got all your dry set up and running, and then it randomly rains and you're on the track already. You can't make changes to adjust for it. You've just got to drive the line and figure it out. You don't even get a run through to feel the track out. So you've really got to sort of commit on a wet line, but then you don't want to be caught out by any dry patches. It actually takes a little bit of rain to make a slippery track. So it's very, very tricky. So they're doing extremely well right now.
We're just waiting on the result of the Adam Whitehead versus Charlie Bon Walsh. I guess it's going to come down to the second pass. All right, slide left for Adam Whitehead, slide right. There's one goes right, two goes right. That will be enough. What does Zach Pole say anyway? Zach says it doesn't matter about me. The other two have made their decision. That might have been one more time for him. All right, so.
Taylor James out there now. And Adam Whitehead. Adam's obviously leading. The boys were getting used to, obviously, that slightly slipperier surface. Look at the gap that's slightly being pulled on. Taylor's obviously not wanting to be throwing it in too big and getting caught out, which has been quite a smart.
And there we go. So that's Sean Potros that's actually leading. We had in the choice events S14.
Hey, he's been driving really well in that car, up from the necky. That boy knows how to pedal, and as you can see just there, nice clean run. A few little bobbles from both of them, but pretty even run throughout there.
So one of the things we'll be looking at is very hard, as you've mentioned. These drivers are driving down here. They've got to go up and sort of weight shift their cars and then throw it in. 170 wasn't it? Was the benchmark for Pro Sport. 160 was the speed. But we see a couple of big mistakes.
Yeah, so that's where you can see basically through that sweeper there is they've come in on a little bit of a cautious run. Even just the run before that seemed a lot slipperier. They're getting a lot more smoke now. It seems like the track's drying up real fast. So even just so run from run, there's track differences, and you don't want to overcommit obviously and go flying off the track. And there's basically only going to be one dry line at the moment. So see how the track right there on that shot. You can see it's very slippery still. There's still a lot of water on the track, and that's what it'll be like through the sweeper. So as soon as that dries up, I'd say you'll see them starting to get back to normal. So
it's what sort of speeds are we expecting for you guys to be going through today?
Well, hopefully my car is back together.
Oh, why? What's happened? Give it a brake issue.
Yeah, we've actually just blown a head gasket real bad. Had a miss in that first practice where we went with Carr. Carr wasn't sounding right. Seemed to clear itself and came back in, whipped the spark plugs out, and yeah, number 5 is just, you can watch the water going on top of the piston. So as I say, man, I've got the best team out there, and they are going hard right now with Darren's team as well to try and rectify this so we can get out there.
I mean, I've seen that many times. We see it at Pukekohe a lot because this place here can destroy cars. How fast you guys are to go out there and essentially help each other out. Saw it multiple times over the years, yourself helping out Bang when he's hit, other people doing it as well. It shows the sportsmanship in the sport. Let's go back to the next battle. Taylor James this time will lead out Sean Potros.
So you can see this time he's obviously going a lot quicker, Taylor, than what he did enter, obviously being unsure. But look at Sean just coming right up on the inside there at Taylor James, just really giving it to him. This young fella can pedal the car really well. Both doing nice clean runs through there, getting out wide to that ripple strip, but Sean's just tucking right up there, exactly what the judges are wanting to see, and that was a good clean run by both of them. A few little mistakes on the sweeper, but you watch how quickly Sean just catches him up.
169 kilometres now, so they are back up to the pace. That small drop of rain hasn't done anything to the track now.
Yeah, correct, mate. You can just see right there's that dry line that the boys have both been able to sit on. Look at that. Sean just accelerated so quickly up onto Taylor there, but Taylor still kept his line, which was real clean.
Sick dive, though. You've got to give him credit for that, for Sean Potros. Got in there.
Well, that's what the judges are asking, where you can have a dive right on the inside of that clip. That's what they're wanting us
with
to
D1NZ, they offered up a hot lap with me because I was leading the championship, and Jake because he was coming over from Aussie.
Wow,
look at Zach Pole, but there we go. 1 strike right, 2 strikes right. Zach Pole goes to Sean Potros, but the winner going through the next round was Taylor James.
And that just shows you, obviously, that they called Sean's straight line a 0 in there, and obviously Taylor's as a bobble. So that's where he was able to gain the advantage just enough.
Yep.
Well, let's have a look at Atlan Norman going up against Russell Vere. So Russell Vere would have seen, don't go too high up. That's where your teammate went yesterday. Certainly running a nice line as he brings the nose back down, setting himself up for the big left-hander, sorry.
That actually worked out in his favour because he managed to stay back and then maintain his angle. So actually gripped up on him, and he was allowed him to stay on the throttle and catch back up.
And actually had a very clean line for a chase run too. He's gone very wide, exactly what the judges have wanted. And what happens is you can stay on throttle and see, look at the car just starting to reel, suck back in there, and right on that line, getting up in the inner clip. Obviously his proximity is a little bit down, but still both doing
that's nice, the gain at this point though.
Yeah,
and hits that inside clip coming through into the back straight here at Pukekohe. So I'd probably rule in favour of the chase driver in that one. It
yeah,
didn't look
for
nice
sure.
to start, but he carried that arc that the judges want to see.
Correct, Steve. You're learning very well, mate.
I had discussions with Dan Mackey. He said, Steve, thanks for talking about it yesterday. It's not a little mistake, it's a huge mistake when they start to bobble in there. And he did give me a couple more pointers to ensure that I was making the right, not necessarily the right, but potentially close to a correct call.
That's it. Given the correct information. That's why hopefully me and Darren come in here to try and run through some of these judge runs for these pro sport guys out there, just to hopefully give a bit more insight too of
clarity on why the calls are made. Some things can even, like, you can obviously look at something and it's quite easy to not see where the judges are making their deductions or where an error was made by even a lead driver to cause an error on the chase driver. So sometimes it comes down to the fact that the lead driver caused the chase driver to straight line or make a mistake, and that's what the judges have to take into consideration.
Look, Darren, for you, how good was Michael Thorley yesterday?
Oh, he's on fire this season. How many times has he won this year?
3 times.
3 out of 4, so that's a pretty strong effort. So,
Well, Russell Vere did a great chase in the first half of this battle, sets himself up nicely. Oh, slightly offline for, oh no, it's a big mistake, sorry. And that's turned into a big mistake for Atlan Norman in the chase position.
For sure, you could definitely see that Russell didn't get as wide as he did in his chase run, and you could see clearly that the car sucked on the inside, then pushed wide, and he had to really try and force the car to get to that inner clip, which you can see from obviously his previous run where he chased. That line just gave him that optimal line to suck back into that inner clip. So he was a little bit in, then tucked right inside here, which then pushes you a bit deeper. See how he missed that clip compared to the last time? That's something that we all have been struggling with a bit.
Almost looks like a delamination of that right rear tyre maybe on Atlan Norman's car. You can see massive vibration coming through. I notice these things.
Yeah, good spotting there, Steve.
I'm talking about Thorley. This man here used to crew for you.
yeah.
He's we had a good chat about you with Mr. Thorley yesterday, Michael Thorley, of course. I think the family are down here. He said that his kids were watching and they saw Daddy on screen in the commentary and came up and they were kissing the screen and saying hello to the Daddy. So that's what we like to see. Family in the sport as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's a great dude. He used to crew for me. Obviously now it's a bit hard for him to drive. He's got to focus on his own thing, and he's doing amazingly well this year. His car's still got a factory RB25 gearbox.
Well, here we go. Just looking at the apologies. So 3 strikes in favour of Russell Vere. Russell Vere will move through. He'll be taking on Jamie Carr.
Oh, so these two are up against each other. So
A couple of
these two
mates.
are very good friends.
Very good friends. Eddie went for a bit of a gym run this morning, actually. So no doubt he'll be swinging
he needs
on
a
that
barber
shifter
run.
really quickly.
Well, it's Michael Thorley leads the way in the NZ R-Dog going up against the
your mates.
A31 Safiro of Eddie Heyman. Oh, nice wide. Oh, it's a big mistake. Big mistake. Can't have big mistakes, can we, in this sport?
No.
Could have got
So
Art there. It looks like he's got arm pump out there. Yeah. Looks like what's happening. Poor
too
bugger.
much, Jim.
Too much gym. Obviously, myself and Darren don't go to the gym too often because we bulk out really quickly. So that's generally why we stay away from there, because we have a very tight suit.
And
now.
clearly I go for rounders as shape, so I'm in shape. All right, let's have a look at the TTI replay. The NZ R-Dog of Michael Thorley leads out. So it wasn't the cleanest start for Thorley. Coming very, very low in there. Bit of a correction, but this is where...
Potentially Eddie just didn't come in with enough speed. He might have thought that the track would have still been a little bit wet and came a little bit too cautious and didn't quite get the carry the speed through the first turn. Had to make a correction and wasn't able to hold the sweeper.
But at least said he's going to be able to drive the car onto the trailer, though. That's always a bonus.
Oh, definitely.
I might have to have a crack at that.
Yeah,
I used to be...
What's your time?
I haven't done it. They won't let me roll. There's no doubt I win.
Best I ever
I
got
need a
was
new
third in the
toolbox.
New Zealand champs in the RC cars. So
Oh, there we go. So
There we go.
Eddie Heyman and Michael Thorley out there again. You can see Eddie is definitely a touch more conservative, but as I said yesterday, driving really well for not being in the seat so long, and not a bad line there through by Eddie. Michael being very sensible in behind there, just giving him a touch of room, knowing that a mistake could come about. But Eddie driving really well through there, and they both did a very nice clean run. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
well,
what
let's
the
have a look.
judges say.
Slide left for Michael Thorley. Slide right for Eddie Heyman. 1, 2, 3 strikes in favour of Michael Thorley. That big R-Dog is heading through to the next round. Now that's puts him straight into the top 4. There we go. Well, let's look at the next battle on track. Will be Andy Donoghue going up against Kurt Blackie. Kurt Blackie way off the pace. I'm not sure what he's expecting. Certainly a shallow line to try and gain back as much as he can. He's starting to get onto that rear bumper though now.
Yeah, he's closing the proximity in, and that's exactly what he would have aimed to do. Like give him a little bit of space as you come into the section and try to close up that gap.
YouTube channel, Drift Biology. It sees the insights of what we've been doing throughout the season and whatnot. So jump on YouTube, subscribe and like, and see what goes behind the scenes. But here we go. We've got the next battle. Kurt Blackie leading with Andrew in behind. Real wide line there by Kurt, but wow,
go with him.
Wow, no, that is not what we like to see.
Well, I don't like to see the cameraman go with the lead car. Go with the crash.
Yeah. Obviously not your cameraman.
That is my camera.
Oh no,
that's my camera.
Very lucky for
get
Kurt
back
there.
there.
I was able to get through there.
He's
but
fired.
It's not a cool thing to see that.
That'll buff
I've
out.
done that several times, and it's a sucky feeling.
Let's see what happened here.
Well, it looked like he threw a lot of handbrake and then possibly had a touch of understeer, and it just
kicked back on him.
Yeah. Normally, either something's happened for the car to do that, like it's popped out of gear, or because he should have been able to get on the throttle and that.
Or the handbrake and turn
around.
in. If it caught you off guard and came out of gear, it potentially could have flicked back extremely quickly.
Now, just in this situation, why did the cameraman go with the car in front? They've been instructed that, of course, the lead car has to finish his lap.
Yes, correct.
So he actually has to, he can't just go for it for the action side of things. He actually has to prove that lead car is, and that's, of course, what Kurt Blackie did. So I won't bag out the cameraman until I get to work on Tuesday and we have this discussion.
But yeah, hopefully he's all right. And look how awesome that is. The medical staff and safety crew are straight over to him to make sure he is all right, that the car is safe, and nobody is hurt. We're so lucky to have such awesome people, volunteering and being a part of the sport, because obviously we can't do it without them. And these things happen. They happen so quickly.
So let's have a look at the camera up the top. So the driver is okay. Andy Donoghue's okay.
So it looked like he went to go on throttle there. Something's gone wrong, and look, straight on the brake. It's not a cool feeling. Like, you got to think that's a good front end.
He is a very lucky man, because of course one of the things that's happened is it's come in on the front and then turned around. It's actually hit the front and the back, but not the side of the car. The side of the car is, of course, where the driver was when he went backwards in, and that could have been a lot scarier. I mean, he could have smashed the windows, for example.
Yeah, so that was a very lucky, and also he got far enough around the corner to avoid a heavy impact with the wall. So that wall was quite deceiving. It comes around quite a long way around the sweeper before you can actually get to the runoff. So you got to really try to get your car as far around there, and then aim for the grass if you feel like you're not going to be able to.
Absolutely.
It, so.
Well, look, thank you very much. A big welcome along to everybody here at Pukekohe. Let's go to the results. So left for Kurt Blackie, right for Andrew Donoghue, 3 strikes left, and that is Kurt Blackie that will go through. So we're going to have a quick track inspection. In the meantime, we'll quickly shoot over to a quick ad break. We'll be back with you soon.
Hi, Darren.
Well, welcome back to the D1NZ National Drifting Championship. It's the Turbosmart Pro Sport Championship. We've got Taylor James going up against Charlie Bond Walsh. It's the second half of the battle. We'll find out. Joining me in commentary, a very warm welcome to Simon Chapman. Nice to see you back, buddy.
Hey Steve, how's it going?
It is going well. You've been a busy man. We haven't seen you in the drifting circles for some time, but you're back today, Pukekohe.
Yep, finally managed to find a weekend off, and obviously come down and have a look at the drifting, see what everyone's up to.
So what have you been thinking of, like 175 kilometre an hour entry? Oh, Charlie Bond Walsh over-rotating that car there.
Did it actually make it through the section there? I thought
maybe
maybe
he finished the section. Let's look at the Tta Replay, mate. So you've been in velocity duty, doing a whole lot of stuff. One of the lead men on social media, bringing the motorsport world everything they need. And today it's drifting is your choice.
Yeah, so yesterday we were down at Bruce McLaren Motorsport Park down in Taupo for the first round of the ENEOS North Island Endurance Series. So checking out a bit of action down there. A lot of circuit racing, big field, about 70 cars, and we'll just watch that car. You did actually spin up in the end, down at the last corner there, so just over-rotated, and that'll be a 0, unfortunately for him.
Going to take control. So we've got Taylor James going up against Charlie Bond Walsh. So Charlie Bond Walsh, that'll be a new name for you. The choice against S14.
Yeah, Taylor James obviously has had a lot of experience. I think this might be his second or third season.
Yeah, third season full. Of course, starting in a couple of years ago. His first event he ever did was at Dunedin.
It's interesting to see there Taylor James quite shallow on the entry there, and he's actually not even able to keep up with Charlie Bonwalsh, who just drops a wheel off, it looked like, through the switch there. So Taylor James just holding back a little bit, I think, knowing that Charlie had that spin in the first run there. So I think we'll see Taylor James go through to the next stage. Yeah, unfortunately I didn't get to see that one, but there were a couple of photos that emerged afterwards, and it looked like some pretty substantial damage.
Well, here
to the
we
front.
go. 1, 2, 3 strikes in favour of Taylor James. Taylor James will move through into the top 4 to go up against none other than Michael Thorley.
As expected. So Taylor James, I'm not sure if he's actually had a win in the series just yet, but former teammate Ra Hayter last year at the first round in Wellington, he had a really good start to season and got a win there, but Taylor was on pole, I believe, that round. So it'd be good to see if Taylor can finally string one together and get a win.
So do you want to kick me out, or am I going to kick you out, and we'll put these two brothers in so they can go side by side and have a chat?
We'll bring the Jenkins boys in. I'll have a yarn with them, mate.
Okay,
How
well,
does that sound?
I'm going to go, they can sit in my seat. I'm going to grab another one.
So interesting little thing obviously happened this morning. You guys ended up taking your drift cars on the road. Not really normal for you guys. Explain a little bit about that.
Yeah, so something like we wanted to do, giving back to the kids. We did the cruise for kids Can. It was a really good thing. All the drivers got behind it. A lot of people shared it. We actually made some really good money for Kids Can as well. 100% of the proceeds went to them. But we organised the cruise from our Team Jenkins Motorsport workshop and all the way down to the track via police escort. So no, it was really fun. I think all the drivers really enjoyed it, and it was something to start your Sunday morning really well.
For sure. Now it wasn't just you two guys. It was a few of the other guys in the pro competition as well.
Yeah. So we had in total probably about 8 pro cars. Jake Jones, Darren Kelly, Fanga Dan, Cole Armstrong, Matty Hill, of course, from our stable, and then a couple of our cars, LS14s, which were displayed down there from our hard-working crew members. So it was good to have them come and be involved as well.
Sweet, and obviously the kids were buzzing after that, no doubt.
That's it, yeah, definitely. Our passengers were loving it.
It's obviously something that's been in the works for a long time now. How long have you guys been working on this?
A fair while, but here comes Russell Vere and Jamie Carr.
So Jamie Carr on the lead here, Russell Vere on the chase. Jamie just getting a bit of a gap there into turn 1, Russell Vere going on the chase. They both initiate pretty similar. Oh no, it looks like gonna go off the road. Oh, that was very, very close there. Jamie Carr and Russell Vere nearly coming to blows there through turn 1. It just looked like Jamie Carr went really wide. Russell Vere trying to chase him as well, but the two of them just making a bit of a mistake. So for you guys were the judges. Any fault there?
Yeah, definitely fault on the lead car there. Russell Vere is an aggressive chaser. He's a very good and up-and-coming driver, and he was just chasing in hard. But Jamie Carr just over-rotated there, maybe a bit too much lock. But it was a good entry, some high speeds there from these pro sports.
That was pretty fast on the entry there, and I think maybe both of them just got caught out a little bit. The lead driver just going too deep, and then the chase trying to follow and not really being able to regather that one. So should we say maybe as commentators the advantage goes to the chase driver there?
Yeah, definitely to Russell. It's as you can see when he enters here, he gets quite far out in the sticks there, and it's real. There's real slippery out there. There's nothing out there. It's just marble. So Russell's taken evasive action to miss him, which is good. But no, definitely towards Russell that one.
So possibly a 10-0 there. A bit of debris on the track. So it'll just take a little bit of time to get that fixed. And in the meantime, Shane Allen is waiting at the line to do another run. So in the meantime, obviously not a heck of a lot going on track. For you guys yesterday, qualifying, how'd it go?
Yeah, qualifying, I was struggling a little bit with my car. First lap, real nice and safe lap, but a second one went all out and got a 69, so that was really good, put us in 13th place. So yeah, really stoked to be up there. I've been battling with that car all weekend, but now we're away. So I think Ben had some better luck. He's been driving well all weekend, so yeah, really good.
And for you, Ben, how'd it go?
Felt good. The car's fast. I'm happy that I can finally drive a proper pro car here at Bookie. So the speed's been good. I was 203 on Friday, and I think my second qualifying run yesterday, which I pulled together to get a 70.5, which I was happy, and put me in 11th. A little bit lower than I wanted to be, but hey, we battled through now with the battles.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pukekohe Park, we brings us action of the D1NZ Drifting Championship for 2019. Of course, round 4 and round 3 of the Cooper Tyres Triple Crown. It's the final round for the Triple Crown, so today we'll be at least crowning one champion. Talking about a champion, we've seen him on the grid, Michael Thorley. He is certainly, Simon, got one hand on the trophy going into the final round at Manfield.
Yeah, definitely been one of the most consistent guys all season. He's sitting, I believe, in the lead of the championship. Pole position, man. He's just, he's always up the top. So it's been really good to see Michael Thorley finally have a really good season under his belt. I spoke to him late last year during one of the rounds, and he said, the goal for him is to just be winning. We always want to be winning, and if we're not winning, then, what's the point in being here? So he's obviously decided that, he's going to try and go hard in qualifying and try and convert that into some meaningful results.
Absolutely. So I think we've got Kurt must be scrubbing now. So we are going to see one half of the top 4 battle. The other one, we had a timer on Russell Vere, but then I've realised that it was actually Jamie Carr's fault. So the timer's kind of been switched off. That was a 5-minute that we'd originally advised our viewers, but looks like we're just waiting. So this one here is going to be the first part of the top 4. Then we've got to go back for the next half of the Jamie Carr versus Russell Vere battle. And of course that will decide who is going to go up against Taylor James. So this is on the left hand side of the tree. Michael Thorley in the NZ R-Dog going up against the R32 Skyline KVNZ Cooper Tyres Mount Maunganui Skyline of Kurt Blackie.
So Michael Thorley on the lead here. Kurt trying to keep pace as they head into turn 1. Michael Thorley's going to initiate here. Let's see what sort of line he takes. Kurt is definitely holding back from the looks of things. Obviously running wingless on the rear. Oh, just a little bit of a correction there. He runs wide. Michael Thorley quite narrow there as he drops a wheel.
Oh, a huge straight line as well coming through, and that is going to be a huge error anyway for Kurt Blackie in the KVNZ R32 Skyline. Big advantage for Michael Thorley. You could see at the start, Simon, that Kurt Blackie trying to really tuck up underneath, but that's where he also went wrong.
Well, it was interesting actually. You watch here on the replay, Kurt Blackie holds back quite a bit, and then when he initiates, he's a little bit shallow, and then he really dives hard and tries to get on the rear there on Michael Thorley, and I think that just catches him out a little bit there. Yeah, you can see the straight line going on. Michael Thorley was just consistent in pace, whereas Kurt Blackie just maybe veering his pace a little bit too much, was just on throttle too much, just had to come off it, lost all the momentum. And obviously straight.
Well, we can see one car certainly back out on track, and that is the on the left-hand side of our screen, the KVNZ Cooper Tyres Mount Maunganui R32 Skyline of Kurt Blackie. Second in the championship, going up against the man who topped qualifying and is currently topping the championship as well. That is the NZ Laurel of Michael Thorley. It'll be Thorley that, well, a slow start for Blackie. They were side by side.
Yeah, it was interesting there. It looked like Michael Thorley went before Kurt, and he's obviously dropped back. So a little bit conservative there by Michael Thorley. Kurt Blackie, again, see like a little bit of a bobble there, a bit of a mistake through the entry to the switch, and he runs wide through turn 2. So that's going to be a big advantage there to Michael Thorley, who just runs his own sort of line, keeping it quick through there, and I think we'll see Michael Thorley go through.
If you notice as he comes through the sweeper, we'll look at the TTI replay. These two cars side by side, 166 kilometre an hour entry for these two cars. So Blackie moves in. If you actually look at the right front wheel, huge angle for Michael Thorley. The right front tyre comes through, and you can actually see it go hit and graze over the dirt, but that's only going to be a small points deduction. I think it'll go back to the first pass, which is a 10-0 advantage to Michael Thorley. I'm guessing we're going to see Michael Thorley going into the final.
So we'll just wait for the judges to give us a result, but we're going to watch that replay just one more time. Kurt Blackie, you can see he's already got a really big lead over Thorley as they enter turn 1. He initiates quite early. Then it looks like maybe he gets off throttle a little bit. There's not a heck of a lot of smoke coming off the back of that Nissan Skyline R32. So he gets wide out of turn 2, misses the inside apex big time, gets turn 3 and turn 4 pretty much aced, but Michael Thorley just better all round.
All right, well, slide left for Michael Thorley, slide right for Kurt Blackie, and obviously the judges are happy with what they saw. 3 strikes left. Michael Thorley goes through to the final.
So obviously no issue there on the start line. Obviously they would have been communicating with the guys down there to let them know what's happening. So they actually do have someone down there on the lights to see whether there are any issues if anyone goes too early.
Absolutely. Well, let's have a look at the second half of this top 8 battle between Jamie Carr and Russell Vere. So it's Vere this time to set up, leading the way out. Oh, huge, almost reverse entry and a big mistake. Well, that was 2, if not 3 wheels off. I can tell you that the people on race control are not going to be happy to see this one here, because that was a 10-0 advantage to Russell Vere after the first one. We need to, one, we're checking on the lead car for a straight line. Two, we're looking at it for whether it's 1, 2 or 3 wheels off.
So forget the blue car. We're focusing on the lead car here. Russell Vere enters really quickly, hugs that inside curb, gets a really good job of going through turn 1. Goes a little bit wide, but see.
Was that 3?
I reckon, yeah, at least 2 wheels off through the switch. I reckon this camera, if we can go back a little bit further, might give us a better indication of how many wheels he had off, because it definitely looked close. So here we go, one more time on the replay. Russell Vere on the lead in that Nissan Silvia sporting no headlights. So a little bit of an interesting looking car. We'll see now if they're going to switch to that camera position. Might get us a better view. Here we go. Let's have a look. 1, 2. So just 2.
We might be lucky.
I think maybe just 2
there
wheels
we go.
off.
We've got to look at. So we come through this section here, and it's all so 1 wheel off points deduction, 2 wheels off, and you can see the shadow under the car to show that it's 2 wheels only.
So it's definitely 2 wheels off.
But actually, he does. And looking for a straight line. Here we go. Russell Vere gets 1 strike, 2 strikes, 3 strikes, and we'll go through into the top 4 to face Taylor James. All right, we've got Taylor James in the Central Equipment Movers Autosurf Silvia going up against the At Pace Solutions machine. Russell Vere. Oh, Vere washing out very wide. Probably running an angle the judges may like a little bit more, though. Let's see if he can close in on Taylor James. TJ powering out of the circuit, hits his outside clip, comes through the inside and back onto the back straight here at Pukekohe. Fast lap here. That's the second half of the battle between Russell Vere and Taylor James. TJ up the front. So Taylor James on the right-hand side moves down. Look at the angle, though. 160k entry, 168.
Vere getting really wide there on entry to turn 1 and then wide at turn 2. So not the best chase. Taylor James will be rubbing his hands together, I think, after that run.
So it's all about creating a smooth arc. So I think the arc was probably still better from Russell Vere coming through that first one. So
for Taylor James on the chase, Russell Vere on the lead. I think from the commentator's point of view at this point, Russell Vere maybe at a little bit of a disadvantage and Taylor James with a little bit of an advantage. So here we go. Russell Vere will lead into turn 1. Taylor James, let's see how far behind he's going to sit. Is it a little bit conservative? Perhaps, but he's going to go centered into turn 1 and hopefully be on the rear bumper by turn 2.
Looks to tuck in underneath. 174 km/h entry. Tay James, he's I think it's quite a conservative, but at the same time, there's certainly a degree of aggression as we see him come up and finish off the section.
Russell Vere tapping on the door there, arm out the window, wanting Taylor James right on that door there.
Which way do you go on this one?
Well,
here?
I think the advantage there is maybe with Russell. Russell, you can see on the lead here, he's got a really good line, nice and close to those rumble strips on the inside. You can see here Taylor James, he just washes a little bit wide through turn 2, misses that inside apex.
Was that a correction by Taylor James coming through the sweeper?
Yeah, quite possibly. And then you can see he runs shallow through the final clipping point
nice
there.
dive though. So it is an inside clip coming through the final part of the section. So that was good for Tay James at that position there. It'll just be come down to what do the judges think?
Yeah, I think maybe the disadvantage there from the first run from Russell Vere might just do him in a little bit there. So I think maybe the advantage just maybe a 6-4 in favour of Taylor James overall. But we'll wait and see what the judges have to say in a moment.
All right, so slide left for Taylor James, right for Russell Vere. Tay James gets one more time for Brendan Dunker, but Zach Pohl swipes in the favour of Taylor James. Taylor James is going to go through to face Michael Thorley.
Unfortunately, the rain has come. The skies have opened up, but I think it'll only be a brief shower. We had one a little bit earlier on today. Sort of only lasted the best part of 5 minutes, so I think we'll see that rain subside pretty quickly. But the issue that we have got is that we've got the finals coming up now, and these guys are going to go out on a very, very slick and icy track.
Absolutely. So in the final, we've got Michael Thorley going up against Taylor James. Of course, Kurt Blackie will be out first, up against Russell Vere. Now, if you're Michael Thorley and Taylor James, you're going to be watching that their lap with interest. I mean, in actual fact, I'd probably just have my cell phone in front of me at the line and going, where are these guys going? Because in theory, with the water on the track, someone's going to go off.
Russell Vere on the lead, Kurt Blackie on the chase. Kurt Blackie will be wanting to get that podium now. He's had a couple of podiums in the series before. That win is still elusive for Kurt Blackie, but obviously still finding his way here in the D1NZ Pro Sport Series.
All right, well, it's dark out on track, but let's see what happens as they fire down the front straight here at Pukekohe.
Oh, Russell
Third
Vere.
and fourth, wow.
A lot of wheel spin on the run down to turn 1, and the gap between these two is massive at the moment. Russell Vere chucks it in. He goes wide through turn 1. Kurt Blackie very shallow.
Running the arc.
Just trying to get that proximity to Russell Vere. It's a very, very slow run here. Kurt Blackie on the switch just straightens up a bit.
Oh,
and so
there's
does
a
Russell
huge
Vere.
straight line.
So two
One wheel off.
straight lines, and Russell Vere's going to go
And
for
he's
a big
gone.
old spin. Wow.
And there goes my Turbosmart banner. I pulled that up this morning.
So you can definitely tell there that the track is very slick. These guys were probably entering maybe half the speed of what they're normally used to. 2 mistakes there through turn 1 for both the drivers there, both straight lining at one point. So unfortunate that we had to see that.
So one of the things that we look at is, so smooth arc starting from the outside, moving in. So Russell Vere, I think he was the first to sort of really start hitting the high line, even though it was wet.
Yeah, it was a good entry there by Russell Vere, and there's
So that's where the judges actually want to see them, and you'll see him start to arc back in. Now, Kurt's allowed to try and gain that proximity back by running his hard on the handbrake at that point there, gets back on the gas. Now, that was a straight line.
So there's a straight line there already from Kurt, and then a big correction
So
by
wheel
Russell
off,
Vere.
and then he's over-rotated. So the question I guess the judges are going to ask is, of course, what would normally happen is that would be a 10-0 advantage in the favour of Kurt Blackie. So they need to determine whether or not Blackie has actually straight-lined or whether that was I don't know if that was under control.
Yeah,
it looks
tricky.
straight to me.
Very tricky here. Just looking at Kurt Blackie on the chase, he dives quite shallow there. He's running the middle of the track, and then as he comes through turn 2 on the switch, the car definitely looks like it's straight lines. Just focus on Kurt now. Yeah,
That's a straight line.
That's it. That's definitely a straight line. And then Russell Vere comes through turn 3, drops the wheel off, tries to flick it back around, and ultimately does a big old 360. Kurt Blackie trying to get out of it too. He parks it on the rumble strip outside of turn 3 there. So
that's
if
going
I'm
to be a
judge-
0-0.
If I'm a judge, you're probably going to say a 0-0,
Yeah.
and the result's probably going to come down to the second run here. So one more look at the replay. Russell Vere on the lead, Kurt Blackie on the chase. Russell Vere actually gets a really good entry despite the conditions. Very slippery out there. He initiates into turn 1, goes really wide, hangs out on that arc where the judges really want them. He's actually very sideways considering how wet it is out there. Comes back in for the switch. We can just see here, it's very slow. Just a little bit shallow on that switch, and that just sort of sets him up awkwardly for turn 2 and then into turn 3, and ultimately ends up spinning, doing a big old 360 for the 2 photographers down there. Kurt Blackie parks it up. So I think at this stage, it's the second run that we've got to keep an eye on. I think from a commentator's point of view, I think that's a 0-0. So let's see here, the second run here. Kurt Blackie on the lead, Russell Vere on the chase. Who's going to take it out? Third place.
Well, Russell Vere really tucking in behind Kurt Blackie. Blackie will set himself up, goes from the right out to the left, running that high line, big angle, and what? Vere's going around.
Russell Vere is going to do a big old 360 here. Oh,
And
might have
he's,
backed
I
it into
think
the
he's
wall.
hit the concrete.
Unfortunate there,
Now
Kurt Blackie
Blackie
just
needs
needs
to hold on
finish.
to it.
Just finish it, Kurt. Just get through the section, and this will be third for you, I think.
So it's... And is it going to be enough? He just needs to... Oh,
Really
it's
wide
a straight
there.
line before the end of the section, potentially. Oh, this is... That is potentially a 0-0. He had it right up to the end. So we know that the car in second place is going to over-rotate. Has Kurt Blackie straight-lined his way into an OMT battle again?
Well, here's another issue, though. Russell Vere obviously does the big spin, ends up in the wall. How much damage has he got to his car if he needs to do it one more time? Because that's a really big hit there. Guy Maxwell getting the shot, I think. Might have even been a bit of video there, but backs it into the wall.
So the car's still sideways. It's still sideways there. He washes out to the wall. This is the point here that we've got to work out where is the finish line, because that was straight.
To Russell Vere's managed to get going, and he's actually completing the drift section. There definitely is a lot of damage to the rear end of that car. Oh, and he actually gets out on the curb there, but we'll have a look
At least
now.
he finishes it.
Here's the result.
1, 2, 3 OMTs, and that's good to see a genuine one more time.
So it looks like maybe the judges both ordered a 0-0 on both
That
of
was
those runs.
all Kurt Blackie's right.
And there's probably parts of the circuit that are actually starting to dry. And I remember actually a couple years ago we had an instance where it was dry in one part of the track and wet in another. So here we go. Michael Thorley and Taylor James. Michael Thorley on the lead, Taylor James on the chase. The Lau line versus the Sylvia. Who's going to take it out? This is run 1
of the final of the 2019 Round 4 D1NZ Pro Sport Championship, brought to us by Turbosmart. Oh, a big mistake to start for Taylor James. Runs a wheel off, and it looks like, what is Thorley doing as well? Can he hold on to this?
I wonder whether Michael Thorley was looking in his mirrors there a little bit, because it looked like it was a bit of a reaction there. Taylor James was getting right up on his rear, and Thorley ended up straight lining as well. There were a lot of corrections going on. We'll watch the replay and dissect what happened, but it looks like down to turn 1 it was starting to dry, so there was a bit of smoke coming off those rear tyres. Watch Taylor James. He's really shallow on the entry here. Just gets up on that curb and it just sends him wide a little bit, and he makes a bit of a correction.
Yeah,
but
so makes a mistake, goes one wheel off, potential straight line at this point here.
Michael Thorley also making a mistake there through turn 1, and another mistake there by Taylor James through turn 2. So how do you call that? There were quite a lot of mistakes in that, but who made the most mistakes, I guess?
It all comes down to, who comes in.
And there goes the rear bumper on Taylor James's car. So we've got a 0-0 in the first run. The winner of this run could be your Pro Sports Series winner. So Taylor James on the lead, Michael Thorley on the chase. Let's see who takes it out.
Oh, and there is a big mistake to start for Michael Thorley, and a straight line. Taylor James needs to hold on to this. What's he doing? He's going to wheel off as well, but Thorley, that is a straight line. That will equal 0. Is that going to be enough for Taylor James to take the win?
How do you call that? That is a really interesting
We're going to go back to the first battle then. Straight to the replay. We need to look at, so Michael Thorley, we think that he may have made a straight line in his first battle. Taylor James, he's definitely put wheels off on this one here. So big mistake there. That is also a straight line, and so is that. So that's a 0. So what have we got? One wheel off. Two wheels off. So that's one wheel off twice. Was it 2? It wasn't 3. So that's...
So I think
all right,
we'll go to camera 3 and hopefully get a good view of that front on through the switch there for Taylor James, because there is a possibility that he maybe dropped 2 wheels off.
But 2 wheels is okay this year.
I wonder whether we'll go to a one more time. It's hard to know, but it looks like we've got a decision here. Michael Thorley, Taylor James. Let's have a look one more time for Dan Mackey.
Says OMT. Zach Pohl
says left for Michael Thorley, and OMT for Michael Thorley as well. So it looks like we've got an OMT between Michael Thorley and Taylor James. So
2 judges couldn't make up their mind, but Zach Pohl could. So well done, Zach. Well, welcome back to Pukekohe, round 4 of the D1NZ National Drifting Championship. It's the Turbosmart Pro Sport Championship. We've seen the battle for 3rd and 4th go again. We've seen the battle for 1st and 2nd doing the same. Let's look and see what they're going to do this time. It is Russell Vere who leads the way at the At Pace Solutions machine. Big smash in the back. Kurt Blackie doing it all wrong as well. An ugly start to their one more time battle.
Yeah, so it looked like Kurt Blackie had a straight line on entry there to turn 1. We thought maybe Russell Vere would be a little bit worse off with that damage to the rear bumper, but obviously managing to get through the section pretty cleanly, so I think advantage there to Russell Vere on the lead.
So straight through to the Tta Replay. Let's have a look at what happened here. So,
I say they're both there.
So big correction there for Kurt. But was that because... One of the things you've also got to consider and look at is, was the chase driver impeded by the lead driver, or did he have his hand too much? Like, was he yanking on the handbrake too much, etc.? So the couple of things that So we're looking at a couple of replays at the same time. Let's go back to the second half of this OMT battle for 3rd and 4th position. This time it will be the D1NZ Cooper Tyres map. We're going to be R32 Skyline of Kurt Blackie, who will again lead out the At Pace Solutions machine of Russell Vere. So Russell Vere, this is will be his best result no matter what for, of course, round 4 or for the 2019 season to date. Let's see what's going to happen as they fire back down the front straight here at Pukekohe.
So Russell Vere on the chase. He's actually dropped back a lot to Kurt Blackie. Kurt Blackie's going to initiate into turn 1, gets those rears smoking again. But again, a big mistake by him. Runs really shallow. Looks like he's actually borderline straight lining through turn 1 there, Russell Vere. He has a bit of a correction there and maybe straight lines as well. So these guys finding the conditions tricky now. Managed to get through turns 3 and 4 cleanly. But again, another really awkward run.
In the Cooper Tyres map, we're going to be the D1NZ R32 Skyline, battling for a place on the podium up against Russell Vere in the At Pace Solutions machine. Slow start for Blackie.
Yeah, real interesting there. Kurt Blackie dropping right back. So the advantage straight away to Russell Vere. He's going to go into turn 1, send it sideways, smoke up those rear bags. And Kurt Blackie, it looks like maybe he's got an issue.
You better hold on to that one then. Yeah, Kurt's back window just came out as well. One of the people, was that Russell's? Something just came out. And if that's gone over the track, well, inactive chase from the start, what do you call?
Kurt was so far back that you'd have to wonder. I think I can definitely see that Kurt's rear window is still there, so maybe something full of Russell Vere's car. I think we were talking about Russell Vere's
car, but see, he is so far back, it's an inactive chase. Where is he?
So let's just have a watch here on the replay. Does anything fall off the car? We're not really too worried about that at the moment, but yeah, Kurt Blackie definitely so far back. But you'd have to wonder.
Well, then I'd call that one there an inactive chase.
Yeah, we've got some marshals out on the track, so maybe there was a bit of debris that came. It's a shame that he's had a bit of engine issues. We'll get him on the comms at some point this afternoon and explain a little bit about what happened.
Well, here we go. I think that shot was just frozen in time, but we're going to start them off. So it looks like a 50 kilometre an hour entry for Kurt Blackie.
Yeah, another slow getaway for Kurt. Really slow as they enter turn 1. Russell Vere, he's going to be on the chase.
Oh, hang on.
Quite a big drop back.
How far? Well, see, I guess he's probably been allowed to do that. He better not make a mistake.
So Kurt Blackie makes it
Don't
through
make a
turn
mistake.
2.
There's one. There's a straight line.
You're dropping the mic,
Sorry,
mate.
my apologies. So, just give them 30. Call us something. Share the points between 3rd and 4th. This was terrible.
There we go. Tta Replay. Kurt Black in the lead. We sort of wonder whether maybe he's got a gearbox issue because he was, again, really slow off the line. Maybe starting in 3rd gear. Finally gets the thing picking up the pace.
Yeah, but where is Russell Vere right now? He knows he has to be onto the back bumper of that car coming in. And then what do we see here? He runs up high, starts to bring the car down, straight line, wheels off. Was it 304.8 millimetres, a foot? Hopefully it was under, and the judges can just say that's it. Russell Vere goes through, but
Swipe left for Russell Vere, swipe right for Kurt Blackie. Brendan Dunker, what's he going to do? Dan Mackey goes left for Vere. Dunker goes left for Vere. Zach Pohl goes left for Vere. Your 3rd place goes to Russell Vere, so congratulations to him. His first podium in the D1NZ National Drifting Championship Pro Sport Series.
apart from Dan Mackey, and sometimes Brendan Duncan knows a little bit more than me.
Yeah, but don't take what
and
we've got as
every
gospel,
time
right?
Zach Pohl knows more than I do.
So here we go, Michael Thorley, Taylor James. This is the second
Second
one more
final.
time. So this is the battle for 1st and 2nd. Taylor James on the chase, Michael Thorley on the lead. We've now got a dry circuit. Michael Thorley goes really hard and fast into turn 1. Oh, look at that. Taylor James really shallow through the first turn,
That's
getting right
exactly
on his door.
what the judges want to see is he's coming up. It's a great chase battle. Probably one of the better chases that I've seen today.
Fantastic
Taylor
battle
James
there.
brought the A game in.
An interesting chase there, though, because Taylor James was definitely a little bit shallower through
He's
turn
allowed
1.
to
You
do
can
that.
watch.
He's definitely allowed to do that. So the judges have said that's okay. You can you can initiate into the turn later. He's allowed to get up on that door, and that's exactly what he did. Now, this is the point that I would be worried if I was Taylor James is getting run out of room. He didn't, and then he comes back on. So
one thing to also note there, it looked like Taylor James might have dropped an inside right front
I
on
think
the grass
was
there.
that 1 point deduction?
Quite possibly, but I'm not sure if that'll be the difference.
Well, let's have a look at the second half. It might come down to this or us. We're going to have probably all the top 4 going to OMT again. Anyway, Taylor James this time will lead out down the front straight here at Pukekohe. This is the final of the D1NZ Pro Sport Championship brought to us by Turbosmart, and into the right-hander. Big speed by Michael Thorley in chase. He's trying to mimic and mirror exactly what's happened in the first half of the battle between himself and Taylor James. Taylor James making his way through the section. Clean run by Tay J.
Wow, see, yeah, that's really interesting because that run there, Michael Thorley didn't quite have the proximity, but he definitely had quite a good line, a lot of angle. The switch was really aggressive. These guys carrying a lot of angle through all the corners. We'll watch the replay again. Taylor James on the lead, Michael Thorley on the chase. They both initiate hard. Michael Thorley with a lot of angle through turn 1, a little bit wider, taking that traditional line that the judges want to see. Taylor James filling that outer zone through turn 2 and the switch. Both switching really hard, but Michael Thorley maybe a fraction shallower on angle, maybe, but that's not going to be the difference. And I think the proximity through that final section there might be the difference between a win and a loss for Thorley. So how do you call it at this point? Maybe another one more time?
I hate one more time, say the most ridiculous thing in the sport. So no, I would like to call that they make a decision.
And there's also the issue with the wheel drop potentially through that first run. That might mark Taylor James down and be the difference between winning and losing that first run.
There'll be a message that'll go into my ear shortly that says, can you tell Simon not to mention well, I'm just going to tell you 3rd and 4th is a one more time. Michael Thorley versus Taylor James for the final. Slide left for Michael Thorley, slide right. OMT for Zach Pohl, left for Michael Thorley, right, sorry, and Brendan Dunker goes left for Michael Thorley. Congratulations to Michael Thorley. He wins the round here at Pukekohe. Taylor James in second place. We might have to bring him up to the commentary box at some stage, and then Cole Armstrong can tell him how to look at the massive Super 6 and hit the wall. So congratulations, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. First positions in the Turbosmart Pro Sport Championship, Michael Thorley in the NZR Dog. Of course, second place, Taylor James in the Central Equipment Movers Auto Surf Sylvia. Don't forget, $2,000 and your name can be on the side of his car, and I promise to mention it as many times as I possibly can for the final, which will be at Manfield. We're just waiting to get the third and fourth cars back out. But there goes Thorley. He's finished his lap. There goes our second place getter, Taylor James.
Great result for Taylor, obviously. Central Drift team. Been waiting to get a win, obviously, but podium's just as good for some of these guys, and it's good to see Taylor James obviously developing his craft as well. Michael Thorley's been at it for a long time. Taylor James coming on in leaps and bounds.
So Thorley finishes off the section. If he'd have done that in his first pass, we wouldn't have needed to go OMT. So of course at D1NZ we can't do it without all of our amazing sponsors. Galore Parts Group bringing us the Pro Championship, of course Turbosmart distributed by North Shore Toyota, responsible for the Pro Sport Championship. Cooper Tyres, your local tyre guys, and our sponsor of the Triple Crown. Blacklion Tyres, our live stream sponsor. Panhead Brewery, Casper Transmissions, NZ Vapor, DKM Fabrication, our round sponsor here at Pukekohe, Mimico Industrial Machining Imports, and big thank you to Cabalco as well for bringing us the fastest speed. V Energy, D1NZ, great to be powered by V this year, and TTI Racing Gearboxes. Of course, a big shout out as well to Marshall Fire Protection, $500 for the fastest pro car. Got to find out who that was.
Got to say, Taylor James definitely didn't win today, but he's definitely won best skids for the day. He's actually down to the rim now. Fantastic job by Taylor James and Michael Thorley in the final. Put your hands together, everyone. Michael Thorley, your winner for the Pro Sport Series.
In third place, Russell Vere. In second place, Taylor James. And the winner of Pro Sport Round 4, Michael Thorley. Look, congratulations, mate. Podium, good thing to do. D1NZ.
Yeah, cheers, mate. It's my first time standing here, so I'm not too sure what to say. But big thanks to Matt from AppPay Solutions for getting us here every round. Without him, I wouldn't be here. And also Chad McKenzie Motorsport. I have to thank Aaron, Chad, and Valdi. Without those guys, I wouldn't be here. And it's awesome to have them behind me. Cheers, guys.
All right, congratulations. Let's go to second place, Tay James.
Yeah, I've got a few people to thank. Mainly the crew. They've been. We had a bit to do before this round. Yeah, the boys managed to do a few bits on the cars, get it here. So yeah, big thanks to them. Logan, Leighton, Matthew, my brother, all the boys, Corey, yeah, mum and dad, everyone, Guy. Just all the boys that helped chip in, everything. My sponsors, MSC Turbos, Mum and Dad once again, Brian NDT, Cooper's Tyres, Hamilton, big help helping us out with all our tyres, and yeah, just everyone else that helped out leading up to the round and keep the car going all year round. So yeah, big thanks to everyone, the drivers here, D1NZ, everyone else. Yeah, cool event, it was a good weekend, so yeah, thanks heaps everyone.
So first off, I just want to thank my wife. She's not here, she's gone home already, she's looking after my girls. So without them, I couldn't probably do this. Thank you to the crew for putting fuel in my car, sorry Gagan, and tyres, supporting us. The D1 team, always putting on a great event. The crowd for coming out and watching. If you guys didn't come, there's not much point us doing this either. All the drivers for putting on good battles. All my sponsors. Yep, thanks. See you guys at Manfield.
See you at Manfield. Let's spray some champagne.